Two, one. Welcome back to the Culturally Distinct Podcast. It's your boy DJ KO. I'm glad you guys tuned back into the show. Welcome to the new year. This is the second episode in the year. Last week was a great show. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the concerns. I appreciate what everybody had to say. You know, this year is going to be a new year. We're trying to build our community, and we're also trying to build not just our community, but people that's affiliated with our community, so we could push our culture forward, as we was trying to do in 2023, which I think we did a great deal, and we've made a major impact in terms of what we sought out to do. So much love for you guys. Much love to everybody that tuned into the show. Much love to everybody that subscribed to the show. Much love. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to my sponsors, 605 Adult Beverages. Much love to you guys. I thank you guys for sponsoring me through last year and continue the sponsorship through this year. We're going to do bigger and better things. You're going to see more of them, not just in Houston, but in surrounding states. So much love to you guys. Also, much love to Red Core Universe digital platform for having us on there. Also extending the partnership. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Much love. So today, guys, you know, we always have a special guest that comes on. And you've probably seen this individual probably around Houston. You probably seen her in Hollywood, or you probably seen her in Florida, Miami, New York. You've seen her around a lot of celebrity. I ain't talking about B plus, C plus celebrity. I'm talking about A plus celebrity. So I wanted to bring her on because I saw that she's doing a lot of major things in not just in the Houston community, but in the United States domestically. So I wanted to bring her on just to hear about a story, because I know she had an awesome story, and also she likes to give back, and she is doing a lot in Houston alone. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into that. So I'd like everybody to welcome to the show Dr. Shatonna Nelson. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Doc?
That's how it's going to go. I need you.
That was exhausting. I was like, ooh, let me catch a breath. Right?
I need you to go everywhere with me from this point on.
Dr. Shatonna, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm awesome. Great. I'm blessed.
Me too.
We made it into a new year.
We did.
Any resolutions going into the new year?
No, for me, I don't necessarily make resolutions, but I'm always striving to be a little bit better. So I'm always gauging the past year on what I want to do in the new year.
Oh, that's
that
awesome. I like that. I'm going to start using that answer right there.
That's
a good one.
Go ahead, use that. That's for you. That's just for you.
So, look, tell the people exactly where you from.
Ooh, that's always an interesting question because I'm a military brat.
Okay.
And it's usually like, I don't know. But I was born in Michigan, spent middle school years and things like that in Louisiana. And then from that point on, we traveled around a lot.
Hold on, I got to shout Louisiana. Louisiana's everywhere. I'm just saying, you know. Some people say this. I said this last year a couple of times. You know, I had a couple of chefs on here, and I had a couple of people that, you know, migrated on from Louisiana. Mm-hmm. I said Houston wouldn't be Houston if Louisiana wasn't involved.
Well, you know, no one's really from Houston,
right,
is what I've learned. Like, maybe their parents came and, you know, no one's really from Houston. Right. It's the big melting pot of
the real
things.
Big melting pot.
Yeah.
So tell me, first of all, I called you doctor. You know, that's a title that a lot of people worked hard for all their life.
Yeah.
How did this doctor term come about?
Ooh, a lot of education. So I have several degrees, master and doctorate level, one doctorate level, but several degrees. So I went to LSU. Other schools among my education would be Rice. Postdoctorate would be a Harvard program.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
okay.
It's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So I started out with biochemistry, ended up strategy. And seminary degrees, so it came about. I'm tired.
So you, shout out to being educated, bro. So you a preacher, and
don't do that. My dad is a preacher, but I did take my master's is theology.
Okay.
Simply because it was just something I wanted to take a deep dive into. I didn't want to be one of those people who just the Bible's great, and I've learned so much from there, but I wanted to understand biblical terms and everything biblical in
Right.
all ways that I could, and also the essence of religion in general.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not. I'm not a preacher. I grew up with a bunch of them,
Okay.
but I wanted to have that knowledge,
I
right?
got you. I
And
got you. Because, being a preacher is okay, man.
it is, but it ain't for me.
Right. So, especially the news now, what's going on with the news and preachers. And,
Yikes! Yeah,
that's a whole nother story.
it's just
right there.
influencers in general. They, you know,
Right.
yeah.
So, tell me, you got titles. So, now, you got to help me out. I call them PR, right? People that's in PR. But the title you gave me earlier, a celebrity strategist.
Celebrity political strategist. Yeah. So
Break that down for me.
Everybody wants. This is always the very first question because a lot of times I'm grouped with publicists.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I did own a PR firm that was public before I went private with those clients that you were
Okay.
talking about earlier. So a strategist is a little bit more intense. So that's a combination of media, which is public relations, which you guys see, and how a individual relates to the public.
Okay.
But that's also marketing and scaling a brand, meaning making their brand bigger. So that may mean someone calling me to say, hey, come in, make this tour massive, make my alcohol brand matter. Or it can look like, hey, I have a crisis. I'm all over the media for doing something wrong. Can you come and fix it? So it's just a little bit broader. It encompasses all things to get you to the winning, goal, whatever that looks like for you.
Okay.
So it's a comprehensive strategy plan. That's what I do for a living.
So, before we get into that, because we're going to get into that and we're going to get to the celebrities that you work with and some of the things that you have your hands with here in the city. I want you to tell people your story because I kind of read your bio and it was kind of intriguing, right?
Right.
And I read it and I was like, wow, that's deep, that's heavy,
Yeah,
it was very, very heavy. So I want you to kind of give the people exactly, your bio and your story.
Let's see if I can wrap it up real quick. Okay, so growing up young, I was more or less a prodigy. I could comprehend languages and play instruments just from sound. Around the age of 11, I was brutally attacked and left to die, brutally raped and left to die. And that would change everything because it would rupture something in my ear and in my neck that would then make it hard for me to be able to use perfect pitch and things of that sort. Fast forward, we would be in Fort Hood. My dad would be deployed, and allegedly I was just really good with a computer. And at about age 16, I had offers to probably every Ivy League school in the country.
Wow.
And I kind of got into some trouble. I learned coding or hacking allegedly and accessed a system I shouldn't have. And instead of that being a bad thing, ABC Nightline, Cynthia McFadden and Stephen Baker came. They ran a story about this phenomenal smart kid that will open doors for me to intern for and work with people like Russell Simmons is someone who would kind of take me underneath his belt regardless to what several years ago. Desiree from Rock Nation, I worked with her when I was fighting for people like Ahmaud Arbery and I was running strategy for that family. And the story just go on. And I'm probably the only strategist that has walked across all facets of strategy. So I've done political, I've done hip hop, I've done country, I've done acting, I've done, film. So that's pretty much the story in a nutshell. Pain is tied to the promise.
Right.
Right.
Right. So in saying that, you say you're a child prodigy, that's a rare walk in terms of mindset because I heard something that Elon Musk said, this is years back, and he said, I always have thoughts in my mind of being creative. And, whoever was interviewing, they was like, well, that's great. He's like, what if you can't turn them off?
You cannot turn them off.
He said that's the part about it that is not good about it because it's always creativity. So when a person's mind like that, like yourself, like, is it like that?
It is. So for me, it's really, really unique because I never made beads or anything like that. I there's two different kinds of knowledge. It can be education wise and it can be just like pure intellect. And I had a combination of those things, and most of the time I was an outcast because the old people would say, the Louisiana people would say, oh, they're ahead of their time. She's ahead of her time. But for me, being in a school and constantly thinking or thinking about something creative, or I see things now that I was thinking about when I was like in the third grade. So it is, for me though, I had a very young experience of falling from grace. When that happened to me at 11, then no one really knew how to approach me and things like that. So I experienced some, I guess what a lot of these celebrities are experiencing. I fell from grace at a very young age, which is what led me to strategy, because I knew what it meant, what it means to have to rebuild yourself. Because I've been rebuilding myself since I was the 11-year-old girl that had the tag of just the victim.
Right.
Right. So I absolutely understand what he's saying. So imagine that, and not having anyone to go to, or parents who probably weren't as successful or had as much money as Elon's parents did, so they could get him things to do. I'm an African American little black girl.
Right.
So for me, it's like my mama like, figure it out. Here go a paper and pen. That's the best I can do for you. You know what I mean?
All right, so how does a person like kind of not get through it, but manage or navigate through what we call mediocrity? Because it's like you have a mind, like your brain is not normal. Not in a bad way, but it's not normal in a, like, everybody doesn't think where you think.
Okay.
You think outside the box. You color outside the lines, right? And that might be normal for you, but everybody else want to color inside because that's what they're told.
Okay.
So how does a person live like that through their teen years, then through their adult years, and now as a professional?
So I believe that everybody has something inside of them.
Okay.
You may be the best barber, you may be the best cook, you may be the best person to speak to people, or you may be like me to have thoughts like me, right? I believe that everyone, no matter who you are, you have to find whatever it is that's inside of you.
Okay.
And I think that ultimately opens doors and thought processes, and it puts you outside the box, because no one can operate in your lane like you can. And I think that's what put me outside the box. It's my brain for me. But for someone else, they may be the best cook that ever came, and they're running away from it to go and work at a regular job because they feel like it's not good enough. I think everyone has a lane that they can operate outside the box in, and that they can be better than everyone else in. That's my personal opinion. Now, how do you navigate that? I do a lot of life coaching. One, you got to know who you are, you got to know who you want, and you got to know where you want to go.
Know who you are, know what you want, know where you want to go.
But you got to talk to yourself about that.
Okay.
And a lot of us don't do that.
Like self-awareness, basically.
Yeah, like, who am I? Like, who am I right now? Okay, I don't like this version. I want to be that version.
Okay.
And you write it down, and then you make steps to get you to that person. For me, like, here's transparency. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so heavy now. I used to not have this weight. And maybe that's physical, but it's important to me because it's health, right?
Okay.
So how do I get there? I knew I had to implement some things. I think that's what every human can do. Personal opinion, but I think that's how you work through it. You look at who you are, you know, what you want and where you're trying to go, and then you say, how do I get there? And I think that'll pull you outside of that lane of mediocrity.
Well, all right, so it's not pushback. It's kind of, we saying the same thing. Because, all right, so one thing that I noticed in my journey, in my walk, like say in therapy, because I'm in therapy also.
Yeah.
One thing that I realized, that before I realized where I'm going, I had to acknowledge, what was going on, right? What was I ain't gonna say the issue, but what was present,
right?
And who was creating that,
right?
Which was me.
Right.
So I had to realize that self accountability,
that's big,
right, was a thing that I needed, and I had to possess it. Right.
You can't have that without self-awareness too.
So, and that's what I was going, because a lot of people are not self-accountable.
Yeah, they don't know how to be, especially in our culture, because we're not really taught to be. And it's something that you do have to be taught, because it's a level of emotional intelligence you have to reach in order to hold yourself accountable and to be self-aware. And you don't know if you don't even know how many emotions there are, right? I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm angry. That's all we know. You don't know that maybe depression is sadness, and you don't know, because depression is a luxury that African American people in the hood don't get.
Correct. We can't.
Right?
We gotta work. We gotta.
So you carry that into adulthood, especially men. And I think my biggest thing right now, I've been preaching per se, is winning wounded. And I tell everybody that all the time, because the thing about it is, none of us None of us are exempt from wounds. Whether they're big or small or whatever it is that you're going through, you're going to have the wounds. You got to win wounded. And a lot of people don't understand that concept. That just means that you probably did something in the day that you have to acknowledge and say, this was a win. It could be the smallest thing. I got out of bed today, and 3 weeks ago I couldn't get out of bed. You won wounded, right? And when you start talking to yourself about winning wounded, then you start dealing with that self-awareness and holding yourself accountable. Well, today I don't feel like I had any wins. Well, why not? Well, because I didn't exercise anything or look at me to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing, I guess we are saying the same thing, is just a process of winning wounded and just moving.
Okay. So, okay. Or we could say progression versus movement.
Progression is very important versus movement. But if all you have is movement right now, move, because eventually something's going to shake. It can be like a baby step. So people all the time say, if you just moving, and nothing is happening, if you move enough, something's going to happen.
Eventually you're going to progress.
You're going to bump into somebody, you're going to do something, some progression has to come. So I think in our community, we have to start acknowledging wherever you are, it's okay.
Okay.
So if you're just moving and you ain't progressing yet, you're trying to figure it out, you're doing something to get there.
Do something. I got you. That makes sense. So let me know when your first trial sermon is, all right?
No.
Shout out to the trial sermon. We're going to win wounded, guys. We're going to win wounded. Remember that. So look, let's fast forward a little bit. So in saying winning wounded, you do a lot of philanthropy in the city. Yeah. Right? Could you talk about that?
Yeah, so I do a combination of different things. My focus this year, though, is literacy for kids. In the past, what it's been is I've traveled across the country, outside of the country, and I've tried to help Samaritan's Feet give out the goal of 1 million pairs of shoes to kids worldwide. I've been a part of helping Ricky with Feed Your City, where we went into communities where we had the elderly and they needed food, and we gave them food and we gave them PPE. For me, my thing is to try to do something as often as I can for communities. Mm-hmm. Often for me, that looks like at least 2 times out of a month, whether that's feeding somebody, giving them shoes, or helping with mental health. When I worked on the civil rights sector with Lee Merritt, I had those big cases that I had to work with him on, from the Ahmaud Arbery's and the George Floyd's and all of those. And I think the biggest thing I learned in the civil rights sector when I was fighting for those people, and shout out to Rock Nation, they helped me do a lot there, was mental health was really important.
Yes.
And no one was acknowledging it, especially men, because that's who we were seeing being slaughtered. And some of them were having mental health breaks versus some of them left behind men who now had to step up into roles and they were having mental health issues.
Yeah, that's a big thing, mental health.
So mental health is big for me this year. Those
are
my things.
Men, especially.
Mental health and education.
Yeah.
Those are my things.
So when you give kids 1 million shoes, and when you feed certain people, or you giving civil rights to certain individuals, how does that make you feel?
So my most exciting thing to do is Samaritan's Feet makes me feel the most fulfilled, because we actually, when parents allow, we wash the children's feet, give them new socks, and we put on shoes. And I've had kids look at me and say, I never had a new pair of shoes before. I've always had hand-me-downs, or I've taken shoes off a kid's foot where the soles were coming out. That's impacting me very deeply in ways. You know how your trauma follows you?
Right.
Being that victim followed me, but also being able to impact people have followed me. I think it's made me a lot kinder. I think it's made me so much more aware, and it's made me grateful. Mm-hmm. And I think that is attributed to a lot of my success, to be able to have that gratitude. When I worked in civil rights, I worked in it for a really long time. It got too hard for me, and I realized that my mental health meant I need to step back for a little bit. Still in contact. I think Lee had like 30 plus of the 40, 50 victims across the United States. Yeah. So I've touched, if they were killed or something happened, I've been in contact with that family probably at some point, right, to help them with it, whatever. I think that impacted me in a deep place. And I think I could work it, but it made me realize I had some issues still from my victimhood. Yeah. So everything that I do, when I go in and I feed people, is always really exciting, because it's usually the elderly and they don't have help and they're forgotten. And I hope that me giving just a little bit back means someone finds me at some point when I need it. So each experience, no matter what I'm doing, affects me differently. I'm excited to get into literacy this year. I want to give out books and do book clubs across the country and just give out books to kids in communities who don't have them. And I don't know how that's going to impact me, but I'm excited to see what that'll feel like.
But that's good because I'm gonna give you a real stat on literacy.
Let's go.
So the stat right now that in literacy in our black kids between the ages, I'm gonna use the grades. So between the ages of third grade to seventh grade, right? Most of those kids, I think 58% of those kids are reading on a grade level below.
Yeah, especially after COVID.
So now literacy for those kids are important. And I'm not saying just kids, I'm saying black kids.
Yeah.
They're reading like below their grade level and 58%. So that's a lot.
I mean, you can't do anything if you can't read. You can't do math, you can't do science, you can't do anything because at some point those change to word problems. So you're already at a disadvantage from the beginning.
Right.
I can't wait to impact that. I want to see a large impact when it comes to that because I think that's why we're so far behind. They say black women now are the most educated beings on the planet.
Yep.
Yeah, because usually with little black girls, we had books. You know what I'm saying? The boys had to be outside helping, doing whatever they were going to do. And we had, like, the books. I attribute that to literacy. I want to be in the communities. I want to be boots on the ground affecting literacy.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And also to go back to what you're saying earlier about how you was giving in certain capacities, right? I'm going to give you a scripture from the Bible. I'm going back to my church days.
Let's go.
You ready?
All right.
It says that...
I'm talking to the church girl with the Bible.
There it is, right? I call myself a street preacher.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
You know what I'm saying? So,
You need them.
so it's a principle in the Bible. It says, give, and it shall be given. So, right? So when you say you was being impacted by seeing the shoes, washing the kids' feet and giving the shoes, you was being impacted by you giving.
That's right.
And it was given back to you, like in that
That's
grateful way. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's how I found my path. I think going back to what we were talking about earlier when you were talking about people feeling like they're mediocre or they can't get outside of anything, if I could tell you anything to do to get you somewhere else, go impact someone. And it can be the smallest thing ever because I don't think we ever really figure out who we are. I think we're always becoming. No matter what I've accomplished, I still have the same moments everyone else has when I feel very normal, have imposter syndrome, feel like I'm not going anywhere. I backslide on whatever it's going to be backsliding on. I think we all go through that, and I think if we start having those conversations with the people that we think, have completely made it and they've hit that success level, I think it'll be very good to help people who feel mediocre or think they're mediocre get outside of that and figure out whatever it is for them. Like I'm always becoming.
So in therapy they teach you about healing, right?
Right.
So of course we think in our community that healing is a start and end point.
Yeah, never stop healing.
It never stops.
Yeah, the wounds.
Because you're gonna always go to another level.
Right.
And you always want to be healed from that level.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So healing is for everybody that goes to therapy and everybody says, "Oh, well, I'm trying to become
that never stops.
It's a continuous process. Your journey is a continual process because you never go. If you stop your journey, that means you pass. Right. You did.
There's no such thing as the journey stopping.
You got to keep going.
It always keeps going.
That's right.
I tell people this. I think I saw maybe Tom Cruise said it, or maybe Tom Hanks. He was just like, if things are good, this too shall pass. If things are bad, this too shall pass. You got all the money in the world, this too will probably pass.
That's right.
You broke, this too will pass. Regardless of where you are and whatever you're doing, the one thing that we all have in common is it's going to change.
Yes. The pendulum will always swing. It's always going to be here at its most, but it's going to eventually get to this point.
Develop the skills, the ones that you need, the healthy ones that help you cope and help you get through the hard things. You got to expect it. You got to expect that if it's all bad, that something good is coming. And if it's all good, that something will come, but I'll handle it and I'll move past it.
Right.
I think when people start the process like that and they just expect it, they embrace it, and then they move forward, I think we're in a much better position.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I see you, Doc. All right. That was a shout out to the knowledge and information that we get over here. Hey, look, I start quoting them now quick.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
But so I want to fast forward and I want to talk about your your celebrity political strategist.
Okay. All right.
I said that right?
You did.
Okay,
Did good.
shout out to
Look
that.
at
All right,
you.
yeah. So I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about some of the people that you worked with.
Ooh. So it'd probably be easier to talk about people I haven't touched. And I know that sounds insane, but so when you come um, from the world of hip hop, and then you have the Cynthia McFadden's, which is who owns the sector for media and news.
Yeah.
And then you also go over to civil rights. You could probably name people, and I'd probably be like, yeah, in some capacity, or we did this, or we did that. I've been really blessed to work with a number of people.
Okay, so if I say 50 Cent.
Yeah.
So you work with 50 Cent.
Fifth's my favorite. His camp's my favorite.
Because I'm going to say the people that's affiliated with Houston.
Okay, let's go.
That's
Come
it.
on.
Either they live here, or they have businesses here, or they always here, or they always talk about it, or they always spotted up here somewhere.
I did Tycoon for Fifth, actually.
Okay.
The big thing that he had for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And anything else. Russell is actually who linked me in 50 and was like, yeah, y'all need to work together. Yeah, Fifth, yeah. And waiting to see what's up now. What we about to do now.
Okay, so 50.
Yeah, always 50.
Drake.
Yeah. I've touched quite a few things with Drake. His team in general. Yeah, I've done Drake.
J Prince.
Yeah, everybody knows that. Everybody's always like, you always with J Prince? And I'm like, I'm not always with J Prince, but J Prince actually found me and had me to come and sit down with him, and we worked on the Larry Hoover case together.
Mm-hmm.
And anything James has called me for, we do. I was just with James maybe like a week or so ago at 50 Years of Hip Hop. I got to present him the icon honor for all he's done throughout the communities and stuff like that.
Actually, I thought you was J Prince's daughter.
Everybody thinks that. Why does that?
I honestly thought that.
Why do you think?
Well, one, outside of social media, like every time I see J Prince, you're with him.
Everybody is like, people really think that. That's so funny to me because
I thought your name was an alias.
Oh my God, I'm grateful because it keeps. Yeah, I get that. Often they're like, "Hey, that's J Prince's youngest daughter." I'm like,
because you always with him.
Man, James does so much to impact the community, so it's easy for me to pull up when he's doing something, you know what I mean? And I'll be very honest, he's been very welcoming for me. He's been very kind to me. I've never had an issue with James or the crew.
Yeah.
Rap a lot in general. Like I remember I was going to an event and I hit him up and I was like, James, are y'all going to this event? And I don't want to go along. And he sent one of his security guards to come with me, and then we flew to Atlanta and went to the Shakur Stevenson's fight. You know, James is just like the kind of person, the loyalty when you're in the family, you're in the family. So yeah, everybody.
Yeah, he connected with everybody.
Yeah.
What about? Well, you already said Lee married.
Yeah, Lee married.
Lee, they don't realize Lee is a celebrity.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I was with, and this is a shameless plug. I shouldn't even say this, but
I always say a shameless plug.
I was in Atlanta 2 weeks ago with for the Celebrity Bowl. FAMU played Howard University, and one of the sisters, shout out to Keisha, over there in Atlanta. She had Benjamin Crump in her suite because Benjamin went to FAMU. And I was talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, me and Lee, we partnered on a lot of stuff." And I was like,
they partner on a lot of cases. I didn't realize that until I started working with Lee.
Yeah, and I realized that between those two guys, they touch, if not all, 95% of all.
99%. It's very rare. If they didn't touch it, then someone they consult on the case.
Yes.
Another one is Justin Moore too. Justin A. Moore. Shout out to Justin. He's actually running for office right now. Those three guys, they're really boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. Yeah. So Andrea, the Odoms group. Andrea Odoms. She's his PR.
That's who's running PR for Lee. So when I left, that's who came in and started doing PR for Lee. So when I was around, Lee didn't have a publicist. He had me.
Okay.
And I was all things me and a lady named Susan. And then it was mentally draining for me, and he can still call. They can still call. After we did a few things with Rock Nation, they funded some nonprofits and stuff like that. I started helping the families open up nonprofits and to get grant money and money. I kind of switched to that side. because the cord and the craziness was heavy. We did the United Nations conference together, me and Lee.
Okay.
And that was probably one of the last things I did when we went before the United Nations and said, hey, look, we need something to happen in America. And then I just, kind of veered off and I started dealing with 50.
Right.
It was 50 who did it. I was like, I need some fun in my life. So I started I started doing more things in that sector.
That's good. That's good. You have your life story is one of those that like you can't write it out. It's like
No, man, if we can figure it out, we're going to put it on TV.
it's like you have a blank sheet of paper. I see
Yeah.
a blank sheet of paper, then you just scribble on
Yeah.
it and stuff is just
Yeah.
happening. Even to this point, from this day on, right? I still see it. I'm like, you still a blank slot. And I think that, Dr. Nelson and Culturally Distinct, we're probably gonna do something in the future.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm 34. People don't realize that.
Okay.
They don't realize I've been in the industry since I was 15. Like, I've been doing strategies since 15.
Wow.
So a lot of people always chunk it up to, oh, she's, and then people be like, wait, you're what? You've
been doing this, right?
34?
And you have connections.
Yeah.
A lot of connections. So how does a person and this I'm going.
I don't know where it's going. You know what I mean?
because all right, so dealing with dealing with the mindset. You have the mindset and that's one. Then dealing with these individuals who have like a lifestyle of open lifestyle. And how does a person maintain a personal life dealing with all this stuff?
There are some times where I am maintaining a personal life. There's other times where I'm failing horribly at it.
Okay.
Hence my dating life. They be like, I want to date you. I be like, you want to until you
Right.
realize that I got to fly across the country, or you got to fly across the country because that's where I am right now. I'm on the set, or, I'm working on a case or whatever I'm doing. But this is what I learned. I've learned to take time to pause for what is going on personal, whether that is family, whether that is just the spa, whatever that is. I've learned balance because my job is unique and it's fun, it's culturally distinct, but it's heavy. And it comes with a lot of responsibility. So I've learned to carve out time regardless and to set really strong boundaries. So if I say I'm going home at 10, I'm not going to answer, the world could catch on fire. I'm not going to answer. Right? And people are learning that about me. And it may be like I leave you at 11:30. I'm leaving at 11:30. You will not hear from me again until 9 o'clock in the morning. I need to decompress. I need to do this. And they know that and they respect it. And I think that's why I keep clients. That's why I have the reputation that I have because, they know that. And they will literally be like, have you ate? Did you go do whatever? Because that's the energy I'm going to carry, right? Mm-hmm. So when I see, whether it's a rapper, politician, or just, anyone, you could be a doctor, lawyer. I work with everyone. My first question is to you, how you feeling? Mm-hmm. Where you at mentally? What your soul feeling like? Have you ate something?
Right.
That's what I want to know. When I come into the room, I can come into the room and it's a crisis. You have messed up and it's something horrible happened. Those are the first things I want to know. Where are you at in these spaces? And I think everyone around me carries that, and I think that helps with my personal life as well.
But that's good. You said you used the B word, boundary.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know how to use that, especially in your field of work.
Yeah.
Because they think that when that phone ring, you're like disposable. You're like, you could be sleeping, and they like, I need you to book a flight. Like, now help me out but you say you have boundaries.
So a few years ago, the guy that I was with that I thought would be my soulmate on Valentine's Day had this crazy stomachache. We took him to the hospital on Valentine's Day, and 2 weeks later, he would be dead from cancer.
Wow.
And I remember I'd been so busy, and I remember sitting beside the bed, and he'd made up his mind. Mm-hmm. He knew that he wasn't going home. And for me, I needed him to go home because I hadn't necessarily gotten the time in and to do what I needed to do.
Okay.
Right? Ironically, he was 34 when he passed away, and I'm 34 now. It's 2018. And I remember him telling me something interesting. He was like, I'm going to die, but I want you to be okay. But I want to be sure that you know how to take care of yourself from here. Because that's important, because I do that now.
Right.
You got to do that. And I remember his funeral, because before that, my cousin, who was actually raised as my brother, had died when we were 25 randomly, right? So I've suffered great loss. So my brother who died at 25 on his birthday, the day after his birthday, driving home. And then a few years later, the person that I thought I would spend the rest of my life with, like, see, we can't argue like a lot of people can. You know, you break up or whatever. I didn't have that. And I think those two, and then I've had a friend actually commit suicide, put me in a position where I felt like, and now I'll get religious, where God said, listen, so now you got to make a decision because you can't live the way you're living because you're so broken. And I can't put more on you than you can bear.
Yeah.
So if we get to that capacity, now I got to do something because I don't lie. I'm God.
Correct.
So if you don't fix you and you don't get to a place and allow me to heal you, then you die too, right? And I made promises to myself and I set boundaries with myself first and then with other people, and I started exercising them, and I realized the relationships were healthier. They last longer. The business was booming better because those things were there, because you get bitter when you don't have boundaries. You get annoyed when you don't have boundaries, right? So I've learned, like I think Lauren London says, sitting on the front row, watching the person you're with die is different than anything else you'll ever experience. I stand beside that. I'm with her on that. And I think that taught me to appreciate every single day, at every moment, and to take care of me and to set those boundaries.
Wow. That was heavy. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you ever get time to cry?
Oh yeah, I make time.
Oh, okay. But I say, man, because geez,
I make time.
And
for
you
that.
suffer great loss, and some people say you become numb to it after it's so consistent, but still, though, we're human.
I think I was with my brother because we were so young. We were 18 months apart. It broke me when it happened. But I hit a sense of numbness, and that's when I met David, which is who would pass away, and he would wake me back up, and he would tell me things like, if you can't experience pain, you also can't experience the love of it. So now you got to make a decision. Because he was older than me, you know. And he's like, so you got to make a decision what's going to be. I'm still not great with that because I am a crisis manager. I am a strategist. My whole life is about getting to the next level or figuring it out.
Smooth.
So it's or smoothing it over. Like Olivia Pope's she's a joke compared to what I, you know what I'm saying? That's what people would say. So for me, I had to get to a point where I had to feel human emotions, which meant that's this therapy session where there are other emotions I had to explore the therapy wheel. My therapist used to be like, how do you feel? And I'd be like, I'm angry. And she's like, find something else. You're not. Well, I'm disappointed. Well, that's kind of like anger. Well, I'm shamed. I'm ashamed of this or whatever. And I had to really work through those problems, and then I could cry, and then I could deal with it in healthy ways. Because before that, I just worked.
Yeah, that's good. Because I'm thinking about what you're saying in terms of on the therapy side of it, because therapy, they
don't care about none of that extra stuff. They there for one thing only.
They get straight to the point.
Dig deep.
Yes, right. That's right. And that's why I encourage therapy for everybody.
Absolutely.
I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you think you got it, how much money you got.
Everybody should take therapy.
Because
everybody has issues. And everybody who want to get all this money, understand it come with a whole different kind of issue.
Yes. That's real. That's real.
You better be about it. You better learn your lessons learn your lessons in the stage that you're in. You're going to need them.
Yeah.
You can skip them if you want to and get to a point. It's rough. Learn your lessons on whatever level you're on. Learn to be okay with wherever you are. It's something there you need to see.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace that and take that, because when you get to the next level, you'll be like, looking back on how I handled my brother's death when David passed away, I had ways to cope, healthy ways.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have said that a few years ago. But now looking back, I'm like, you know what? I had a process regardless of if I knew it or not. And that kept me alive. And not that I was suicidal, but I'm talking about when you have the kind of grief and experience that I have, your heart will stop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with that, absolutely. And then people get depressed. And then if you don't have a network or a team of people around you that either handle that or knows how to handle that, or a therapist or somebody that, that's trained to do that.
Or a pastor or good friends.
You're going to be in a downfall spiral.
Right.
For a long time.
I was the only one in denial. Thank God for all the people that was around me. I was like, no, he's going to go home. And everybody around was like, no. It took him to look at me and be like, look at me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going home, kid. I don't leave this hospital. Like, I need you to look at me and tell me that you comprehend this is it for me. Mm-hmm. Like, everything is failing. He shouldn't have even been able to talk. He was in that amount of pain.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'll never want love again unless it's like that.
Ooh, that's heavy.
I don't never
Yeah, I
want to
hear
get
that,
into
fella.
this as a sacrifice
Yeah.
like that. Like you can be in that amount of pain.
Yeah, and still, well, you probably, you know what? I look at stuff like that as that probably was a message from God.
Absolutely.
That probably wasn't him.
Absolutely. But that's ultimate love, though.
Yeah,
Ultimate love is ultimate friendship, is ultimate love with the divine. If someone can't love you the way God gonna love you, you probably don't want them in
that's
the first
heavy.
place.
Ooh.
And that's the problem, because we carrying around all this stuff and we bruise. So when love really come, we don't know what to do with it.
Uh-oh. The way
I don't want it no more if it's not like that,
I
right?
don't,
Come on, man.
I don't want it if it's not the way that God loves me.
I need it like that. Because I'm
Mm.
real broken. I'm real messed up. I'm going to make some mistakes. You're going to make some mistakes. I need some unconditional. We going to work through it. We going to talk through it. Somebody going to lead somebody. Like, I need that.
Yeah.
I need it to be like the way that God loves me, because ain't nobody ever loved me better.
Yeah.
So if you can love me like that, I might be
Hallelujah.
okay. But if you can't love me like that, I'm a little bit nervous, because I'm a little bit broken. I got some traumas, and you going to come with something, because
Yes.
that's life, right?
Yes.
So it's got to be something that even when things get real, real crazy, you got to love me like God. And I mean it on all levels. I need you to know. Let me go to the Bible, because she tripping today. What is? Because I'm her. You understand?
Yeah, I got
You
you.
know what I'm saying? I know my folly. I need him to know his folly, and I need him to have a source to go to. We can't just go by what the world. Everybody knows something now.
Right.
I need a source of something, right? So literally and ultimately, yeah, I need you to have. You got to have that, because I've experienced great love, and once you experience great love, you'll lay alone before you experience anything else. I
told
tell
you.
people that all the time. Only people who like bouncing and not really is the people who ain't got it. Because once you get it and you feel it, a joke will walk up to you and be like, I can tell by the way you walk, kid. This ain't gonna be it.
Right. You ain't having it.
You
Yeah.
want to call me sometimes, because that's this is not it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was for me, because we were dating for quite some time. But I mean, the first 3 weeks, he was like, I was like, what's wrong with you? He was like, I'm marrying you, ain't I? You know what I'm saying? Because mentally, for a man who's led and knows what he wants and how he loves, he knows.
Where is he from? Here?
Yep, South Park.
Okay, in the hood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, before he changed his life around, glory to God. He was,
Hallelujah.
yeah, you need a little bit of all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like a salad. You know, you gotta have, your croutons, you gotta have your egg, you gotta have your cheese.
Yeah, you gotta have it all.
You gotta have it all.
Right.
If you just had a bland salad, you'd be like, oh,
Right.
okay, this is.
Well, I don't want a bland salad, because I literally rule the world, and I joke about that. I have world domination. That's my ultimate goal, to have total healthy, positive world domination. I want it to be contagious. I want to be like, every time she go into a city, she changes. I don't know how, right? I need to go home and be a woman.
That's real. That's real.
So I can't deal with a regular salad, because when I go home, now I'm looking at you to tell me what to do. Now I'm looking in Walmart. You like, why are you looking down at your phone? Somebody about to hit you with the car. Be still. What you doing?
Right.
I was playing Candy Crush. I need that. You understand what I'm saying? Because everywhere else that I go, when I show up, I have to be that force. I want to be a force at home. So you're gonna have to have a little bit of everything.
That's unique saying that, because you're if not the first woman that are busy in her schedule and work with the type of people that she works with, and said that she wants to come home and not do none of that and just be.
I don't want to. I cook a little bit, rub some backs or something, but I want to be full on, just a woman.
Yeah.
Let me be that.
I got you.
Like, and I mean that, like, in the deepest place ever. When I walk through the door, I want to turn it off.
So you want to be in your full feminine behavior, just.
They throwing that around a lot. I just want the dynamic, man. I just want him to be what he should be to me. That's
So you believe in
protector,
role?
provider. Man, I'm old school.
Okay,
to
I got you.
Right, to a certain extent. I mean, we gonna make the money, we gonna pay the bills, but just guide me somewhere. And
Right.
it don't have to be about what I know. Teach me something, show me something, be so. I want to look at him and be like, oh, he got that.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
You know?
Yeah, I get you. Now I get it because I'm old school. I'm the older too. So
I don't know. This is what I've learned. A lot of these younger guys, as long as they got the money, they feel like that makes them that provider, that protected, and it don't.
right.
But they feel like it does, so they say, oh, we want traditional too, or like they stop the woman from paying the bills. And I was like, I never necessarily said that completely, right? Because I'm going to get this money.
Right.
Like, you see, what I do for a living, But it's got to be so. I don't want to be riding the car in a tire pop and neither one of us know what to do.
I got you.
And you don't got to fix it, but you got to be resourceful enough to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want the lights to go out and you not know how to get to the breaker.
He looking at you.
Like I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to come in and tell you this, and this when I come into the house. I don't desire that at all. I want to come to the house and be like, well, are you? Only thing I'm worried about when I wake up is, are you good? Because couples don't do that enough. They wake up and they take care of everything and everybody else. Nobody's saying, what can I do to make your day better? How will you be better today, right? But outside of that, I go to work and he can come out there and support me or whatever. But when I get in the house, I want to know he got it.
So basically, security.
Yeah,
security.
Protector. Providing don't always just mean money. He got to provide something for me. Look, I've seen monsters. I've seen grief. I've seen hardship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no means trying to be there for myself.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Like you said, provision doesn't mean money.
No.
Right? Because I know most of the women nowadays, they make more money than the men anyway.
Well, I can show you or teach you how to get some money.
That's what I'm saying. Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all getting it together.
That's about resources, right?
Correct.
I understand the idea of resources in ways that other people don't. A lot of black men don't have access to the resources that a black woman's going to have.
Yes, right.
Or a white woman's going to have, or a white man's going to have. Just not going to have it, right? They're going to have a trade before they have the resource.
Right.
Right? So if you're a woman coming in, you should be able to help with the resource. But at the same time, I know a lot of men who do it too, like not knocking anybody. But at the same time, I think you got to know. Some people just want the money and they don't care about the rest of that stuff. I can't speak for all women and all men. I can say what I want. I can say I go out and run the world and deal with crisis and people and brands and A-list egos every day.
Yeah.
When I come home, I don't really want to have to do that.
I got you.
Besides, I don't want to do that, right? I want to be full woman in your presence. I'm good. I'm a full. What is it?
Y'all hear that, fellas? Full woman.
I want to be a full woman.
So when y'all see her with Jay Prince, look, it's okay to walk up to her and be like,
yeah, man,
Dr. Nelson,
they're not going to give you no problems, man. No, they be like, you be with BMF, you be with Jay Prince, you be with all that. I was like, they would be happy to see you. They would be like, are you here for her? Because she was, come on.
Would you date a celebrity? Because, like you said, their egos are inflated now.
From that sector, and everybody knows that I do. I don't want to pretend like I don't have, people like trying to date me or asking me out. I try to stay away from the celebrity world. I just try to stay away from one because and this is not for anyone that I've named. Let me be clear. But a lot of these people, I tell them what to say, what to do, what to dress, how to act, how that swag's supposed to go, how they treat their girlfriend. I send the flowers, I write the notes, I do all of those things, I know that they're not who they say they are. There's very few people that are who they say they are.
I got what you're saying.
It's all a facade.
Yeah.
That's the problem with entertainment in the industry. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of those people aren't on my caliber. I don't want to date a man that I can't talk to. And the same thing, listen, I tell them that. I be like, what do you talk to her about after y'all? And they be like, stop. Because she don't have.
Right.
There's nothing here, right? And all that other stuff is good, but like, I need to be able to talk to you. And you don't necessarily have to be on my level, but can I at least have a conversation with you? Most of them that I've met.
They can't tell you.
Did you see the news today? The news still come on? Yes.
Yeah, they're not in a
or they doped out or drugged out.
Reality
or
world.
Or they drunk. Or, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you can't really have a grip on you. I am you. And it's a problem. I see a lot of brands and I'm like, and literally people will come and be like, them your words. Because they used to the way that I talk, the way I move, and a celebrity will say it. So I stay out of that sector. I also stay out of that sector because I'm so respected in it. And how I can move around it, right?
I got you. That makes sense.
And not with the rappers, with the women. Meaning girlfriends be like, they could walk in the room and see me in the room with whoever and they be like, oh, she ain't messing with him. You understand what I'm saying? And that will stop you from growing because once the wife or the girlfriends or the women, you get a tag, you got the tag.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
that industry.
Yeah,
you know what
forever.
I'm saying? So for me, I do my best to stay away from it. If I meet the person in the industry and like it's but for me as of now, I have not seen, heard, felt, touched nothing in the industry that.
Would you ever run for politics?
They're asking me to.
Because you seem to me, you seem like a politician, but a politician with a heart.
I've been around Congresswoman Lee too long.
So A politician, because I'm thinking if she would have won a mayorship, I'm pretty sure you'd probably been chief of staff.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I would have been.
Yeah.
Which she came into the race really late. No disrespect to John. I've worked with him on the Sandra Bland project. A lot of people don't know that's who authored those all of the articles around Sandra Bland. That was John.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
We don't have a bad mayor. Let me be clear.
You might be over there with John. I might check you out over
John knows he can call me if we doing anything impactful. I try to stay away from the all of the tags and whatever. I'm for right.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people for right anymore. Everybody's got I'm liberal, I'm whatever.
Yeah.
I'm Republican, I'm Democrat. For me, I'm for right. So if you're doing something to impact this earth that is righteous, I want to be there. I want to align with that. But a lot of people have been asking me, you got to be in politics, you got to run. I've had, because I've worked Obama Foundation, I've done things with them, White House negotiations team, I've done that, So I've consulted. So a lot of people ask me, would I get into politics? Right now, no, because the climate of the world is crazy. You see that with the celebrities being brought down, the politicians. You see a shift in the earth happening right now. I want to see where that shift is going, because one person can't do it, and a lot of people think you can. You need a community.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to find myself on the wrong side of politics and making being a part of things that I know that's not good for everyone, and I know you can't get it perfect, but at least close. And where I see politics, especially in Texas right now, is not where I want to be.
Yeah, especially, well, I ain't gonna say that.
Ooh,
I'm not gonna.
I've been waiting on you to get into the celebrity sector. Ask me, what you think about this celebrity? How they gonna fix it? I've been waiting.
Nah, because all right, so I don't like salacious stuff. You see what I'm saying? I'm not a salacious person.
You shouldn't be.
I'm more of a person that, how can we impact the community and move forward as a people? Because the thing is, and everybody that knows me, they knows that, I talk about economics all the time. I talk about empowerment. I talk about therapy now. I talk about business.
Yeah.
I talk about,
shout out to Earn Your Leisure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Financial literacy, stuff like that. Because I'm like, okay, the only way we're going to make an impact,
so we change.
We need money.
Yeah.
Right?
Big time.
We need
in
money.
Our community.
And I always preach this, how the financial deficit in this country is just like from a $96 trillion endowment that is dispersed on minorities. I'm not even saying blacks. Minorities only get 0.8% of that.
That's right.
So I'm like,
so you gotta start asking yourself why.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, man, we having the wrong conversation. I don't care what Diddy's doing. They ain't making no money.
That I just told you what the problem with that is. A lot of these celebrities is someone like me behind the scenes that paints you a picture. And that's why the 1% exists, because you can't paint a picture for the 1%. Is like, I don't care what they doing. My focus is here. Everyone else, they take that picture.
Right.
They're on Shade Room. They're on TV. They're researching it. Your emotions done completely shifted from you working on your brand today and you into that, and now you've been talking about it for 3 hours when today was the day you were supposed to start whatever you were gonna do.
My focus. This is my focus. That Houston. I'm in Houston.
Okay.
Houston has an expansion project for the I-45 from Galveston all the way to the city of Houston. Right. $1.4 trillion.
That's right.
Right? And it's going to go through John Woodmire's office, right?
That's right.
Contracts. So I'm like, okay, how can we get some of this money?
Fort Bend they just approved, don't quote me, about a half a billion for something they're working on over there. The money's in the economy.
That's what I'm focused on that. There. I'm focused on the money. I'm focused on how can we get these minority companies and how we can JV them, joint venture, or how can we get them as subcontractors or get some of these people to work. And it could be anybody, because there's enough money out there for everybody.
It is.
Trillions of dollars.
Crabs in a bucket.
And I'm like, I don't care about that. I'm like, I talk about contracting all the time. I'm talking about how can we get in, how can we have a seat at the table, just to make, like you talk about the Samaritan table and how you
got to teach it. So I get it. So
you see what I'm saying?
What you're doing is the most impactful thing you can do.
Right.
Nothing is better than a voice. And if you talk about it enough and it spreads enough, then hopefully it hits the right ears. So yeah.
It's like in the church. It's like a seed.
That's it.
You plant the seed.
You can plant that seed.
You plant the seed.
And it grows like that tree.
I gotta get out of here.
Everybody.
I ain't gonna preach no more, y'all. I'm out of here, man. So look, so Shatana, how can people get involved in some of the philanthropy work that you're doing?
Okay, So you can find me on all social media platforms. It's either Shatonna J.Nelson or either Dr. Shatonna J.Nelson on all social media. If social media exists, that's where I am. My website is ShatonnaJNelson.com. You can find me there. And I do my best to be pretty receptive. It'll take me a while to get through some of the inbox, but I will probably answer you. But most of the things I'm getting ready to do, I'm going to post it. If you follow my main pages, you will see Paradigms of Hope, which is the name of my nonprofit. I also have the Shatonna J. Nelson Foundation, but that's structured strictly towards civil rights. And anything that I'm doing or that my clients are doing, I post it in enough time for everybody to see. I'm not the kind of person that gatekeeps. I want us all to experience things, especially in the community. So if you pay attention to me and you're following me, you will see it.
That's it. Guys, look, man, y'all heard it here. Look, y'all look. The conversation, look, has been super, super, super impactful. The thing is, all you got to do is listen, right? We talked about everything we need to talk about. It's up to you if you're going to get it, right? Absolutely. And I know, Doc up here, she's very busy, and I appreciate you coming up here, blessing us with your time. You know what I'm saying?
What you were doing had to be a part of it.
Yes.
You got to do that too in our community.
Absolutely, yes. I appreciate that, man. And partnership is key. And remember, what's the term you use? Wounded.
Winning wounded. We're winning wounded.
Winning wounded. That's right.
Winning wounded.
I like that.
It's a book. It's a lot of things coming called Wounded.
I might take that. You
can take it. I mean, I'm still gonna produce mine. Good luck.
Good luck, right? Nah, but man, look, I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Y'all already know this is your boy DJ KO. Much love to my sponsors. Much love to my partnerships. And look, make sure that you get with somebody that has a like mindset. Make sure that y'all pray for each other. Make sure that y'all impact each other so y'all can impact y'all community. And then you impact your community. They can impact somebody else. Can impact another community. And now it's like a wildfire.
Contagious positivity.
That's right. It's contagious.
Contagious positivity.
So look, before we get out of here, we have a word of the day, right? I want you to give the word, just any word that comes to your spirit. Give the word of the day. Not a word like a passage, just a word. It could be a single word. Okay.
A single word. Elevation.
Elevation. There we go. I about to freestyle on that, but I ain't gonna do it. Nah, I ain't gonna do it. But guys, I appreciate you tuning in, man. Look, you know where to find us, Culturally Distinct. We're everywhere. Just Google it.